Hi scholars, it's Miss Sillin. Today I will be going over Tuesday, April 28th's lesson. So this is lesson 22. We are going to be using the ruler as a number line to add and subtract. Please turn to page 21 in your packet. This is for Tuesday, lesson 22, starting on page 21. Also, if you have not been looking at the homework assignments that are due to your teachers, make sure you pay attention to that this week. You still have a chance to be texting page 11 to me from Monday's assignment. So if you have not done that yet, please complete that assignment and text a picture of it to me for credit, and I'll be able to look over it and let you know how you're doing. Since school is unfortunately closed for the rest of the year, we do want to give you all of your assignments and work for the remainder of the year, so you have an opportunity to pick up your new work packets. We have 2 different days this week for you to come pick those up at the school. First option is Tuesday, April 28th from 10:30 to 12:30, and then Thursday, April 30th from 10:30 to 12:30. So you have 2 opportunities to come this week to the school and pick up your new work packets. We do not need you to turn in your current work packets since we're still working in those, but if you have your packet completed from last week, so for April 20th, you can certainly turn that in when you come to pick up these new work packets. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or a text. My last announcement for this video before getting started with our lesson, we are still doing Google Hangouts. So if you enjoyed being a part of our Google Hangouts last week, or if you haven't joined yet, you still have an opportunity to see your classmates and your teachers. So my Google Hangouts are always going to be on Mondays, and Miss Mason is having her Google Hangout on Tuesday, April 28th at 2 o'clock. And then Mrs. Kading will be having hers on Thursday at 11 o'clock. So please feel free to log on and say hi to your teacher and your classmates. And we are also going to be shortening these Google Hangouts this week. So last week they were an hour long, and this week they will be about 30 minutes long. Time to review. Let's review. Which tool is the most appropriate for measuring each object? So this is just like our last video lesson. We're going to be choosing in between a 12-inch ruler. Hold up your hands like this. That is about the width of a 12-inch ruler. Your elbows should be by your sides, and your hands should be out like this, about shoulder width apart. And then reach your arms all the way out. You can't see my arms, but they are all the way spread out. That would be about the size of a yardstick, okay? So we're going to choose 12-inch ruler for each object or a yardstick. All right, think. The length of a chapter book. Show me your hands. What do you think we should use? 12-inch ruler. If you got that right, give yourself a silent cheer. Next one. Height of a flagpole. Flagpole is very tall, so we would need a yardstick to measure that. Length of a paperclip. Paperclips are smaller, 12-inch ruler. Last one, height of a doorway. So think height, up and down. Yardstick. If you got all of those correct, give yourself a pat on the back. Near me. I can use a ruler as a number line to add and subtract. You don't need any materials for this first review question. Let's review unit length and then distance between 2 points on a number line. What is the unit length on this number line? Remember, unit length is what we skip count by on a number line. Looking at 45, 50, 55, is that number pattern counting by ones? Is it counting by fives? Or is it counting by 10? What do you think it's counting by? The pattern on this number line is skip counting by fives. So the unit length on this is 5. Say it with me, 5. What is the distance between A and B? Tap your head if you see point A and point B. If the unit length is 5, we can find the distance between A and B by skip counting by fives. Point to point A, right there, and count on by fives with me, starting at 0. Skip count by fives. Ready? And we'll stop at B. Go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Stop at B. What is the distance between A and B? The distance is 25. Now is where you will start to use your number line template. So number line A is what we will be working with first on page 21. This number line is blank. We are going to solve the following story problem by putting it on the number line and making a number sentence. How can we use the number line to show 20 yards more than 35 yards? Listen to this part. 20 yards more than 35 yards. The word more, does that relate to adding or subtracting? Show me on your hands. Add or subtract. More means we will add. So we're going to start at the beginning of this number line, and we're going to count this way for more, which means adding. 20 yards more than 35. 35 is going to be our first endpoint. So please write 35 at the first hash mark or endpoint on your number line A. Now, to count 20 yards more, we have to understand what the unit length is. That means what we're counting by. So does this count by ones, fives, or tens? Let's say that each unit has a length of 5 yards. So this number line is counting by fives. Let's count 20 more, skip counting by fives. Finger pointing to 35 on your number line. Count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20. Stop there. If we're doing 20 more than 35, the number sentence would sound like 35 plus 20. To figure out what this endpoint equals, we have to now skip count by fives from 35 until we stop there. See if you can count with me. 35, 40, 45, 50. What's that endpoint going to be? 55. 20 yards more than 35 is 55 yards. Using the blank space on your paper at the bottom, I need you to make another number line that's similar to number line A that we just used. So I just drew it on my whiteboard. You can draw one on a piece of scrap paper. This is the blank number line, and you should have a total of 7 hash marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Draw that number line now. Show 50 more yards than 60 using units of 10. So our last number line, the unit was 5 yards. This time the unit is 10, so we're going to count by tens. 50 more yards than 60. Remember, this number right here is going to be our starting point. I'm going to write 60 at the beginning of my number line. Write that down on yours. 50 more than 60. We're counting by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I stopped when I counted forward 5 times because I was counting by 10, so I did 50 more. Draw the jumps on your number line. Now we need to figure out what that stopping point is. Now we're going to go back through and count by 10 starting at 60. 60, 70, 80. See if you can count the rest on your own and stop when you get to this end point. 90, 100. I'm going to put a question mark there, and I want you to see if you know what the stopping point is. Write a number sentence that would match this statement, starting with 60 plus The number sentence you should have is 60 plus 50 equals 110. 50 more yards than 60 is 110. New number line. Again, using the same blank number line, draw another one with 7 hash marks. Show 30 more yards than 85 using units of 5. Whisper into your hand what this number line is counting by. This number line is counting by 5s. It says the units are 5, using units of 5. Unit length is 5. What is the first endpoint going to be on this number line? You can say that out loud. When I snap, say the number. 85. The starting point is 85. What number comes after 85 if it is counting by 5s? 90. We are going to show 30 more yards than 85, and we're counting by 5s. You can watch as I demonstrate, and then you can draw the jumps on your number line. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Stop there. We stopped at that point because I counted 30 more. Draw the jumps on your number line, and then I want you to go through and label each hash mark. So write down the numbers that match each hash mark when we count on from 85 by 5s. All right, when my thumb goes up, that means that you are counting and saying the next number that we skip count by. Ready? 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115. Check over your work and make sure it matches mine. You can pause the video here to take a closer look at my number line. Last part, we need to write an addition sentence that matches. Read your number sentence out loud. Your number sentence for this statement is 85 plus 30 equals, and it's what our last number was, 115. Thumbs up if you got that one right. For this question, see if you can figure out what sounds different. How can we use the number line to show 15 feet less than 55? What is different about my question? Less. The word is less. So when we heard the word more, that meant that we had to go right on our number line. When we hear the word less, we have to go backwards and count down. So we're going to go left. Our starting point is what number? 55. Write that at the end of your number line. That is our starting point now for less. The unit length is 5. What are we counting by? 5. Let's count down and say stop when you hear 15. 5, 10, 15, stop. Now, we need to write a subtraction sentence that matches. Write down the subtraction sentence that matches. Using the number line, let's count down until we get to our stopping point. Counting down, 5 less than 55 is 50. 5 less than 50, 45. 5 less than 45, 40. 55 minus 15 equals 40. You might have noticed that it is a little bit more challenging to solve these less problems because we have to count down from bigger numbers. Let's try another one. Show 15 less than 45 using units of 5. Point to the spot on the number line that we should start at. Where will our first endpoint be for this less statement? We are going to start right here. Our first endpoint should say 45. And we're going to do 15 less. What's the unit length? The unit length is 5. I see units of 5 again. Count down and say stop when we should stop. Notice that I did not count out loud that time. I hope you were counting. 5, 10, 15, stop. Write down the subtraction sentence that matches. Your subtraction sentence should say 45 minus 15. Please go down on your number line and count down by 5s, figuring out what the answer is. Ready? 45, 40, 35, 30. We should have done 40, 35, 30. Our answer is 30. Thumbs up if you got that. Draw another blank number line to show 20 less than 90 using units of 10. What is going to be different about this number line than our last one? The difference in this number line is that the units are 10. So we're going to skip count down by tens, not fives. Make sure you always pay attention to the units. That's what we skip count by. What number are we going to write first at the end of our line? Are we going to write 20? No way. That is what we're going to count down by, 20 less. Our starting number is 90. You should write 90 at the end point. Do you agree or disagree with how I'm counting? Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, stop. No, you disagree. What was my mistake? My mistake was I was counting by fives, not tens. My unit length was incorrect. Let's try that again. 10, 20, stop. Now am I correct? I counted down by tens and got 20 less. Please write a subtraction sentence that matches 20 less than 90. Your number sentence should match mine. 90 minus 20. Now counting down from 90 by tens. Say stop when we stop. Ready, go. 90, 80, 70, stop. Our answer for this endpoint is 70. Great job, keep it up. Show 30 less than 115 using units of 5. I'm going to work through the problem, and I want you to watch and see if you can figure out what my mistake is. I'm all done. My mistake on this problem is that I counted down by tens. I made the same mistake. What should I have counted down by? I should have counted down by 5. I'm going to try that one again. Count down by fives, and we count down 30. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Write a subtraction sentence that matches. Check over your work with mine. Now is the tricky part. We have to count down by fives, starting at 115. If you need to rewind and try it again with me, you can always click rewind. 115, 110, 105. 5 less than 105 is 100. We have to keep going. 5 less than 100, 95. 5 less than 95, 90. Almost there. 5 less than 90 is 85. 5. 115 minus 30 equals 85. So I got the same answer as before when I tried to trick you and show my mistake. I still got 85, but I needed to show the work accurately on the number line by counting down by 5s. All right, that is it for our more or less question and solving on a blank number line. Now we're going to finally use number line B on page 21. How can we figure out the length of this pencil using number line B? Take a look at where you think the endpoints are. I want you to draw a dot on the endpoints for this pencil, so where it starts and ends. Where does the pencil start and end? This pencil starts at 49 and ends at about 62. So the endpoints are 49 and 62. We can figure out the length of the pencil by using the endpoints. Mark those again. You should still have those on your paper. If you made a mistake, make sure you draw the dots at the appropriate numbers. Now, what should we do with these endpoints to figure out the length? We could write a number sentence. What type of number sentence should we do? Plus or minus? If you said minus, you are correct. Write down the number sentence using endpoints 62 and 49. Write a subtraction number sentence. You should have written 62 minus 49. Now, this number line is counting by what? It's counting by ones. It's counting by 1. So this is going to be a little easier if we wanted to count on the number line to figure out the length, or we can just solve this subtraction sentence. I'm going to show you what it would look like if you counted on the number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think the length of this pencil is 13, but it gets a little jumbled and messy when I try to do all those jumps. So I'm going to try checking again using my number sentence. 62 minus 49, 49, count up to 62. One more would be 50. 50 plus 10 more equals 60. Plus 2 more equals 62. 10 plus 1 is 11. Plus 2 more is 13. Did I get the same answer for the length? Yeah, I did. So when I counted on the number line from 49 to 62, I got 13, and we'll say this is centimeter ruler. And when I use the arrow way to solve 62 minus 49, I also got 13. So I think the length of the pencil is 13 centimeters. I used my endpoints and found the difference for the length. That is it for our practice time together. Now you should turn to page 22 for your problem set. You're going to complete pages 22 and 23 independently. I will read through each question. You can follow along if you would like and pause the video when I read through each question so you have time to solve. Number 1, each unit length on both number lines is 10 centimeters. So if you're looking at number line A and B, they count by tens. Show 30 centimeters more than 65 on the number line. 30 centimeters more than 65. Remember the word more, which direction we should go. On part B, show 20 centimeters more than 75 centimeters on the number line. So you're solving two different problems. When you are done solving on the number line, part C asks you to write an addition sentence to match each number line. So I need to see two number sentences, one for each number line. I will do number 1A as an example. Starting at 65, 30 more, and we count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 65 plus 30. 65, 75, 85, 95. It equals 95. Number 2. Each unit length on both number lines is 5 yards. So remember what we look at to figure out what to count by. Part A, show 25 yards less than 90 yards on the following number line. I see the word less. Think about which direction we go in for less. Part B, show 35 yards less than 100 yards on the number line. These two number lines are counting by fives. When you are done, write a subtraction sentence to match each number line. I'll give you a hint for number 2A. Show 25 yards less than 90. You're going to start here, and the number is 90. We are on page 23 now for your problem set. Number 3. Vincent's meter strip got cut off at 68 centimeters. To measure the length of his screwdriver, he writes 81 centimeters minus 68 centimeters. Alicia says it's easier to move the screwdriver over 2 centimeters. What is Alicia's subtraction sentence? So on this problem, here's Alicia. She moved her screwdriver over to a different endpoint. So you need to look at that endpoint right there and her endpoint right here and write a subtraction sentence that matches her number line. Figure out what these numbers are for her endpoints and subtract. Number 4, a large flute is 71 centimeters long and a small flute is 29 centimeters long. What is the difference between their lengths? You need to write a number sentence for this. So when we hear difference, are we going to add or subtract? Number 5, Ingrid measured her garden snake skin to be 28 inches long using a yardstick, but didn't start her measurement at 0. What might be the two endpoints of her snake skin on her yardstick? Write a subtraction sentence to match your idea. Ingrid measured her garden snake skin to be 28 inches long using a yardstick, but didn't start her measurement at 0. What might be the two endpoints of her snake skin on her yardstick? This is a very tricky one. You can draw a number line if you would like, and she thinks the length is 28. This is similar to how Alicia was measuring the length of the screwdriver. So she is getting the same length as Vincent, but she has different endpoints. See if you can solve number 5. This is a challenge problem. At this point in the video, I need you to click pause and work on the problem set independently for about 10 minutes. You can set a timer on a phone or on your computer by typing in 10-minute timer. You may begin. Good luck. At this point, you should have completed the problems. To check over your work, please do not copy. Number 1A, show 30 centimeters more than 65. So we counted 10, 20, 30, 65 plus 30. The answer is 95. Part B, show 20 centimeters more than 75, counting by tens. 10, 20, and stop. This is 75 plus 20 equals 95, because 75, 85, and 95. And those are the addition sentences again for A and B. Number 2, each unit length on both number lines is 5. So we are counting down by 5s. We're counting down because of the word less. Show 25 yards less than 90 yards on the following number line. We started on the other end for 95, and we count down by 5s, and we have to count down to 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We stopped here, and we have to go through and figure out what the end point is. 90, 85, 80, 75, 70, 65. 90 minus 60, 90 minus, let's try that again, 25 equals 65. I'm glad I caught that mistake. Part B, show 35 yards less than 100 yards on the number line. Again, start at the opposite end for subtraction. Starting point is 100. Count down 35. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. 100 minus 35 equals 65. The numbers in between: 95, 90, 85, 80, 75, 70, 65. Give yourself a star on page 21 if you got both of those right. Good job, keep it up. Please fill in or make any corrections for ones that you messed up on, and that's okay. These are challenging problems. Turn the page, page 22. Alicia is correct because when you are subtracting, you can make friendly numbers if you add the same amount to both numbers. The answer will be the same. So Alicia is correct because her measurement is still the same as Vinny's. On Vinny's problem, 81 minus 68 equals 13. On Alicia's, 83. So 83 minus her endpoint here is 68, 69, 70 is 70. So she thinks that she's using friendlier numbers. This was very hard. 83 minus 70 also equals 13. So that is her number sentence. 83 minus 70 equals 13. Number 4, a large flute is 71 centimeters long and a small flute is 29 centimeters long. What is the difference? So you needed to subtract. Here's your subtraction sentence. 72 minus 30. Actually, I'm going to cross that one off. You probably wrote 71 minus 29. This person was trying to do it all fancy like Alicia. That is a little confusing for us. We don't solve that way. So number sentence I expect you to have is 71 minus 29. You could draw a number line to figure this out, or we could just use a different strategy. So I'm going to show in vertical form. 71 minus 29. I can't do 1 minus 9 in my 1, so I have to unbundle. 7 becomes 6 tenths. 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 9 equals 2, and 6 minus 2 equals 4. The difference is 42 centimeters. Problem 5. What might be the two endpoints of her snakeskin on her yardstick? So this problem was very, very challenging, and I don't expect very many of you to be able to solve this one. This is a spicy problem. So you could have different answers for this. My example is showing the endpoints as 10 and 38. If I choose these two endpoints here, I'm still going to get the length of 28. So my number sentence was 38 minus 10 equals 28. Vroom, vroom, vroom. I have one final question to wrap this up. If you knew the endpoints of an object, so picture a toy car, could you figure out the length of the object without using a number line or a ruler, and how? I want you to think about that and explain out loud to someone what you think. So yes, I could figure out the length of it without a number line or ruler, or no, because. Ready, go? The answer is yes. If you had the endpoints for an object, you could figure out the length. So just like the length of the pencil that we practiced with number line B, if I took away that number line and gave you the endpoints and subtract the number, then we would be able to figure out the length. So if the toy car endpoints are 41 centimeters and 64 centimeters, what would the length of the toy car be? See if you can solve that. Your number sentence would be 64 minus 41. The answer is 23 centimeters. So the length of the toy car is 23 centimeters. Here is our last part of the video lesson, so I'm going to leave you to work on your homework. You are not required to text a picture of this homework assignment to me for credit. However, I hope that you are still practicing these skills and completing your homework even when it's not required. Remember that there are specific days and assignments where we ask you to text a picture of your homework to us. Write your name at the top. Each unit length on both number lines is. Now, this question is saying 20. We didn't ever practice that, so I'm going to cross that off. Please cross it off. And let's change it to 10, okay? The unit length on these is 10. Number 1, show 20 centimeters more than 25. So this one is more. You should be starting over on this end. And it's counting by tens. Number 2, show 40 centimeters less than 45 centimeters on the number line. So make sure that your unit length is still 10 for that one. Number 3, please write an addition or subtraction sentence to match each number line. So for number 1, you should have an addition sentence, and number 2, you should have a subtraction sentence. If you would still like me to check over this work for you, you can still text a picture to me if you would like, but it is not required. Bye!